So I'm from Flagstaff.
Oh,
From
okay.
Flagstaff. I grew up in Flagstaff, Arizona. A cool place to grow up. I grew up there. So I played sports. I played ice hockey my whole life. Played till I was 8 till I was 22. Then from there, I decided, hockey didn't work out, so I had to have a plan B. So I decided to go to college. So I went to college, got my GED, went to college, and I ended up graduating and went to medical school.
He's being very modest right now and cutting through all this other stuff. He's got a phenomenal story. I'm not going to force anybody to tell their story, but he's got a cool story.
Oh, real estate. Well, I started off working in the hospital. So I graduated medical school in 2002, finished my residency in 2007. So I started working from that point forward. I was in the hospital working. And an opportunity came, and I decided to start my own practices, which was 8 going on 9 years ago. So then, since that time, I've grown from 2 practices in the valley. Now I have 6, and when you start kind of advancing. You start thinking about other ways to make what I've always called mailbox money. I mean, my whole life I've always had more than one job, 2, 3, 4 jobs. So I always like to have options. So one of the options is, no matter whether you're a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, it's always nice to have money coming in from other avenues, money that it just basically comes into your pocket, goes into the bank, and it's just the way I've always been. So over the years, as I've been leasing more and more practices, I was fortunate enough to meet my good buddy John. We met randomly initially, and all these years later, him and his wife Julie were all great friends, and the opportunities came by observing them and how he's been shaking and moving in the Phoenix community for years, and watched their properties start to stack up pretty much like Monopoly. So when you're watching someone who's as successful as he is, and in my position, fortunate enough to know him well, become good friends, you start asking, hey, how you do this, how you do this, how you do this. And since they take me under their wings and show me what they know, they're to give me impart their knowledge upon me. So for that time, when you start thinking about, if you have 6 practices, you're paying 6 leases to 6 other people who are owners, who are making money off of you, essentially. So after a while, it seems like a pretty dumb route to continue taking ad infinitum. So speaking with John and Julie, opportunity came up to, hey, every time a new lease comes up, when my lease ends, then I'm not leasing again. I'm buying buildings from that point forward. So 2 of my leases have come up. I own 2 buildings with John and Julie. We're all partners together, and the goal is to keep doing that as each subsequent lease comes up, and delve into real estate as far as residential, commercial, as I go forward. I want to build wealth, of course. Everything I do, of course, I love what I do. I love helping folks, but at the same time, I also love helping myself. And my goal has always been build wealth, and that's one of the best ways to do it. Still is always. I mean, I think that holds true. In the past, things have changed, I guess, a little bit now compared to what they were years and years ago. That's always been the tried and true American way to build wealth. And of course, like anything, my business, anyone who's a businessman or woman, there's going to be bumps in the roads. But I think that still is consistently one of the best ways to make that mailbox money. And it's just fantastic. It's one of those things like you can start from, we've all probably heard things, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And whether you like it or not, this world, the nepotisms that foot in this world, or the tracks get greased by someone who's come before you. So it cuts out so many steps, having someone has the knowledge that these two have. I mean, you're not starting from scratch. I mean, because believe me, starting a business from scratch, anyone who's started business, or they both obviously know, there are some lean times when the payrolls due, when the people aren't coming in the door for whatever reason. My industry, who knows? You can lose your license. The patients might not come. The new therapies might change. Who knows? The government might step in. So it's always nice to have another avenue. And if you're able to make shortcuts to that avenue and not having to start and lose, you start, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. It's very, it makes a lot easier transition to start with someone who's already been there and done that.
And do you think you would be doing real estate now, or to the same degree, if you didn't have them?
I'm doubtful. I mean, I've always been a entrepreneur type, always. But again, whether I would be doing it now or not, I definitely wouldn't be doing it as effectively and as easily as I am now with John and Julie at the REKI, helping me out. So again, like in this, I think unless you're an athlete, unless you're a rapper, unless you're an actor, the best way to make a lot of money is not by being an employee, so to speak. So if you want to make a lot of money, if you want to get tax benefits, if you want to grow, generally speaking, one of the best ways to do it in this country is by being an owner. And so, if you, and again, that's not saying you should leave your job tomorrow. You always have to have a plan B or have options. But I think real estate is definitely a way that you can start being that owner. And the more, and again, you're not gonna. I mean, you don't need to make $1 million in your first house, but if you have, 10 houses making $100,000 a year, that's $1 million. So again, the goal is to either start small, slowly grow your way, or if you just start small, stay small, and just have multiple avenues of monthly, annual income coming in. It makes your life, it gives you a lot more flexibility in life, that you would kind of help you live the life you want to live. Okay, so I can speak personally myself. When I've told multiple people I've talked about John and Julie, like, hey, my buddy's helping me with this, my buddy's helping me with that, and they've always come back to me because again, I think in this world there's a lot of cynical people in this world, and rightfully so. As a businessman, there are a lot of people out that you figure out. There's a lot of people out with their own with their own interests in mind, which is fine. I mean, everybody should have their own interests in mind, but you also have to. I don't know. There's a lot of shady characters. So all of my friends have asked me, man, what's in it for him? What's in it for Julie? When you start realizing, well, he's my friend. He's my friend. I know at this point that John and Julie are very good people, very honest people, and what's in it for them is to help other people succeed. So I think you're completely trustworthy, 100%, and I think you would be in good hands if you trusted them to help you with your businesses.